Hello, Flimsy Lunch Tray here with a Operation Scenario Battle for you being Aegis and the Russian Tech Tree Tier 6 destroyer, the Gnevny, which actually a few years ago I believe was a Tier 5 destroyer. Now it is a Tier 6. So you may have already noticed already, and looking at the lineup, two things. One is I'm pink. And it's actually pink from a co-op battle I was doing in Shimakaze with 12-kilometer torpedoes. And a teammate decided to charge forward and ate one of my torpedoes, even though he was 11.5 kilometers away from where I fired the torpedo. Yeah, it happens. The second thing is I have a clanmate in this battle who's actually going to be rather entertaining for us today. As I've tried to grab his attention in chat, but he's not responding, and so I'm going to shoot my guns over in front of him. But you can actually shoot your fellow teammates in operation scenarios and you don't do any damage to them. So I actually just could have shot him. But we'll get back to him in just a minute. So I'm going to give you kind of an overview of Aegis. I think I've talked about it maybe once before, but I'll still give you an overview as I have actually a really good game here in the Gnevny for this scenario. So one of the first things that you need to know is if you are a carrier, do not spot this group of enemy ships at the beginning of the battle. Because as soon as you detect them, it causes the smith here to smoke up, and because of that, that means farther back, and the smokescreen dispersion time is less. So it's best to wait until the ships automatically appear without you as a CV player detecting them. So some things about the Gnevny. The Gnevny is a pretty fun Russian destroyer in my opinion. I've gone up the US destroyer line, I've gone up the torpedo line for the Japanese ships, and now I've been kind of messing with the Russian destroyer line. The Russian destroyers are known a little bit more for their gun firepower, if that's how you want to phrase that, particularly their armor piercing. It was actually pretty deadly on cruisers, especially if it's same tier, as it can do some really good penetration values. So you'll note throughout this battle how we often get citadels, particularly on Kumas. As you can see, I'm working with the Aoba here, seeing if I can get some good damage on him. And the thing with the Russian destroyers is that torpedoes are short range. So the torpedoes, for the Gnevny, you get 2 triple tubes, being 6 torpedoes, but they only go 4 kilometers in distance, which I'm actually going to forget later on in the battle, because I thought they went 6, but they go 4. There's a citadel in the Oba, right at the end there. So essentially, when you move up here, whether you're in a destroyer or cruiser, is just sitting here and farming, trying to get damage on the enemy ships here. You can see we've already lost the Smith, which is basically a bot-operated destroyer, because the enemy ships were spotted too early, and that's now putting our shores, who's also a bot, in not a great position. Now my clanmate Burnsy, who's not been able to catch any of my messages, has gone off up to the left, which is a good play for a destroyer as he dies, or cruiser as he dies, using smokescreen, because you can get the broadside of the enemy convoy of ships, I don't know, however you want to phrase that, that are coming down here. But I gave him so much grief about this, because one, he didn't see me in chat trying to get his attention, and afterwards I gave him grief at the battle for dying like a derping, potatoing like that, but he actually got a conference call and working from home right in the middle at the beginning phases of this battle, so he had to just duck out there. So that's why he died. So as you can see, we've lost another cruiser already as well, which is putting more pressure on me as a destroyer player to try to do my best in taking out this line of cruisers, and also I believe there's one battleship, the Ishizuki, who's also mixed in here. Our shores bot commander has gone down, so now it's up to our team to rescue him. You have 2 minutes to rescue him before you lose another star, a secondary task, so it's important to save him if he dies. So we're flipping back over here to the Kuma with the armor piercing loaded. And really until I had this run, I feel like I'm always surprised with the Russian destroyers, particularly with their armor penetration capabilities. When it comes to cruisers, I mean, even when you go up the line, like you get to the Khabarovsk and you have a broadsiding, Vermont or Worcester, they just chew you up hardcore. So that's something that's definitely take advantage of your armor piercing with your Russian destroyers when possible to do so. So in this battle, it's a little difficult, especially if you lose 2 cruisers at the beginning, and you have players not quite potatoing in the beginning. Granted, Burnsy had a call. But it's utilizing your smoke screens, islands, your positioning, and going from there, essentially. Now, with Aegis, basically you have waves of enemy ships. You get the first wave, which we've dealt with, and now I'm finishing off the second wave here as I take a massive chunk from that Ishizuki as I was waiting for him to fire, but he never fired, and as soon as I turn broadside, we're going to lose a massive chunk of health. Then you have the second convoy here that we just finished off, or I guess it was the Furitaka our team's still dealing with. And then you have the third wave of ships, which is basically these convoy ships that are escorting your transport ships that you need to save, essentially. And when you're a destroyer or a cruiser, you can really work this side of the islands. Usually there's been a cruiser and a destroyer both working together, kind of coming up along this flank. Because if you're in a cruiser, say something like the Leander, and you're following the rest of your team, as they still struggle with that Furitaka, you're just shooting them from the bow on, and you're not getting a lot of damage since Leander only has armor piercing as an example. So coming over here, being able to use smoke screen, using this island as I am right now, it really helps you get that broadside and makes your shots more count and being able to do more efficient damage versus shooting at them bow on. So I'm mostly just trying to focus helping my team because I know we're in a difficult position. Normally, if you get the time, you can move up to past this island here and go to the left and get them at that bay. But because we were delayed and dealing with that second wave, it's not worth me to try to run around. So in other words, I'm just going to take advantage and using the corner of this island here in the Gnevny and making use of those 4-kilometer torpedoes as we lose a battleship on our team. So things are not going well, to say the least. So I'm just going to kind of pull up here. I'm going to wait till it gets a little bit further up. And of course, I'm going to utilize my torpedo line indicator because really they don't really move from that. And then pop smoke. The goal is to only use 1 set of torpedoes because I'd like to save the second set for the enemy cruiser, the Furitaka, also behind him, as I feel like we're going to do pretty good. And I'm also keeping in mind my smoke firing penalty because if I fire, it's likely I could just get one-shotted by one of these cruisers, so I need to play this wisely. So I feel like I find myself often in battles with I feature to you guys here on the channel and being low HP destroyer and coming out at the end all right. But I won't do any foreshadowing or spoiler alerts. So we're waiting for this Furitaka to come up a little bit more and fire that. He is going to pick up a little bit of speed here, but because he's outside my smoke firing penalty range, I'm going to shoot him a couple times. Maybe we get a fire set. Yeah, there's the fire set as he instant damage repairs that. And maybe we'll get a flood, but that doesn't happen. And he's still barely alive. Now at this point, I can't fire because I'm in that smoke firing penalty range, but I am proximity detected, meaning that if you're within 2 kilometers of an enemy ship, they will automatically detect you because you're within their proximity detection range. So I am still playing it cautiously because if you caught my bots glitch number 2 with cruisers, bots just in general, randomly firing torpedoes, I don't trust just to run around the corner and then a second set of torpedoes, and I'll just be patient there and let my team finish him off, and maybe I could lob a shell over the corner of that island. Now, because there's only 4 of us, and I'm here, my goal at this point is to move up and deal with the 4th wave, which comes in 2 groups. Immediately north where I'm looking at, there'll be 2 battleships. As you can see, we have one there, and there should be a second one popping up shortly. And then you have the other part of the 5th wave. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, or sorry, 4th wave, is that they pop off further to the right where you see the enemy Fuso already on the mini-map. And then there'll be destroyers and cruisers and another battleship or 2 with them. So that's the main enemy group, because they're trying to cut you off from getting to the extraction point, however you want to phrase that. So my goal now is to move forward up here, because I don't really expect my team to be able to do a lot of damage. Maybe the CV will be able to help me. But this is where I kind of potato, because my detectability range, I believe, is 6.1 kilometers. Yes, 6.1. And I'm going to try to get just on the verge of that, and dump torpedoes and smoke up, because I'm thinking my torpedoes are 6 kilometers. But you can already notice on the mini-map that I have the round circle, gray circle of 4 kilometers. Actually, that's 4 kilometers is my torpedo range. And so after I fire them and they disappear as the enemy battleship gets closer, I'm going to realize my mistake. So we're going to move up as close as possible to utilize the torps. Now, the one thing that is nice about the Russian torpedoes with the destroyers here is that they have a relatively quick reload. So I won't have to wait too long for the next set to come. As you can see, it's just over a minute. And I'm hoping that they'll fire on one of my allies so that their smoke firing penalty will reveal them. And my goal is just going to be able to set fires. So we're going to focus on the first battleship here. And I'm just trying to do my best to see if I can get some fire set, as I feel really confident about those torpedoes. And then I realize, oh, right, those are 4 kilometers. So he's instant damage repaired that fire. But now my goal is to get at least 1 or 2 fire set on him, and then I'm going to switch to the second battleship and try to get a fire set on him, and forcing them to use their damage repair party, and letting the fires do the work for me versus just trying to sit here and repeatedly do damage with just HE alone. So we're going to get a second fire going on him here in just a minute, and I'm watching my smoke screen timer as it's about to end in this puff, so I'm going to move forward. So we've got 2 fires burning on him, and then we're going to try to get some fire set on him. And this battleship here is actually how I'm going to be using my Nexev torpedoes on. As you can already see, they are off. They're already reloaded, but I want them to get a little bit closer before I dump them, ensuring that we'll be able to indeed get the damage done that we need to end him. Because the carrier is already helping me with the first battleship, which is great. It's a really good call on his part. And then we get another fire set. And then I'm going to try to do my best to live as long as possible. I don't have priority target because I believe, I have a 10-point, 11-point commander on this destroyer. So I know he's aiming at me because his guns are facing this way. So I'm trying to kite, but trying to do as much as I can to get the damage output of helping kill him before I die. And this salvo is going to end me. Now, where the allied Fuso player is going to mess up, as you'll see here in a minute, is that he's not focusing on the enemy Fuso. Because if you do not finish off these 3 enemy battleships, you'll lose a star. As you can see, we just lost our Dallas, sorry. I don't know why I was going to say Talon, or Dallas. And our Fuso is going to be focusing on the weakly armored Kuma. And as the battle is going to draw to an end here, as our transport ships are about to make an exit through the extraction point. Otherwise, we probably would have 5-starred this. But what you will notice is that we've got 10 torpedo hits, and we have, what was that, 15 citadels, and almost 220,000 damage. So really impressive overall. So it wasn't didn't know what to expect with that after losing 2 cruisers in the beginning. So I was all signaled up, so we got over 14,450 experience, almost 10,500 free XP, with over 219,000 damage, with 5 destroyed, a couple set on fires, and topping the team at 1,510 base experience with 5 destroyed. And of course, my clanmate at the bottom there, since he was the first to die. But hats off for sure to the allied carrier, as they did a really good job in coming out on top there. And here you can see the damage spread out. You can see that our torpedoes and main battery damage are actually almost identical, but then you can also see an added 30,000 damage with fires and floodings. And I'm not sure I got the unsupporting conduct on. Don't remember that one. And then you can see with all the special signals I took, the bonus we got there, and getting another commander point. So yeah, I was definitely pleased and a bit surprised with how well the Gnevny performed. Granted, typically when you do operations, you want to be divisioned up with minimal one other clanmate or one of your friends just teaming up, 2 to 3, as that really will help ensure the success. As the operations is a good place to get commander XP with having to earn more. Now that we have to go from 19 to 21 points on that as well. So on that note, I do also want to make a shout out that if you are looking to want to join a clan, we are ADF are recruiting, and if you are interested in wanting to join our clan, feel free to comment below and sharing your in-game name. Granted, we are a North American server clan, and we will review your profile. Basically, we're just looking to see, one, if you're active and you're an average player. That's really all we're looking for, as we're wanting to grow our clan a little bit more as we are heading in the right direction. So if you liked today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe if you want to see more. And if you have already subscribed, thanks so much, as we're sitting at 99 subscribers, about to bust into 100. So until next time, take care.